Grab a snack, grab a drink, and take a seat because this video is going to be pretty crazy. We are going to be talking about everything that we know so far about the upcoming Outbreak co-op mode in Rainbow Six Siege. I'm actually really excited about this. So over the past few months, there have been little hints and tips and rumors about some sort of like co-op zombie style mode coming to Rainbow. Nobody really knew any details up until a couple weeks ago. Rainbow has started putting out official hints, like hints hidden in the game. There have been like QR codes and little number algorithms and all kinds of crazy stuff. And then there was an official rainbowleaks.org website that popped up that had like these different like classified files you had to unlock with certain passwords. And it's been insane. Honestly, I wasn't really paying attention to it. I didn't know what was going on. The community has been figuring this stuff out. Hats off to everybody who's been working on this. But I've gone through, I've kind of compiled all the information, and I wanted to share this with you guys because it's really interesting. And we're not done yet. The third file just unlocked yesterday, and there are more to come. So without further ado, let's hop into it. So like I said, we have 3 different files, and the first one was unlocked back in November. And when you unlocked it, it came out with this text, as well as 5 different images we're gonna be checking out. So it says, "My fellow factors, we have an opportunity to get ahead of a lie before it becomes another cover-up. Truth or Consequences, New Mexico is experiencing an outbreak, and the feds are a little too quick to send help, almost as if they've been prepared." Now, believe it or not, Truth or Consequences is actually a real city in New Mexico. I didn't think that was real, but it's a legit city. So they said, "We've managed to smuggle intel out of Truth or Consequences through an ARNG associate of the Manifest Destiny militia. They share our distrust of FEMA, and I can't do this alone. We need all hands on deck here, so whatever your sources, whatever you can provide, share it here so we can all benefit from it. Here's what we know so far. Truth or Consequences is suffering an outbreak of an undetermined nature. The CDC is front and center, and the National Guard is rendering assistance, but all the pieces fell in place way too easily. This has false flag written all over it, but who's the bad guy here? So give me what you got. Let's add a database, yada, yada, yada." So basically, there's some sort of outbreak happening. There's a bad thing happening, and somehow the government and the National Guard and stuff like that, they were like way too quick to respond in a weird way. So somebody's on the inside, and they don't know who it is. But in the first image here, it shows a patient file of somebody who's been infected. You guys could see they're starting to have these like open sores. It shows some of the original like wounds and stuff that they're starting to get, some of the symptoms. The second image here is a status report saying that they're testing this pathogen or virus or whatever it is, and they haven't seen anything like it before. It can spread rapidly throughout the body, affecting everything. Like, it doesn't just attack one area of the body, and it's possibly adding a human DNA to its own, so it's kind of like morphing into the human. It's not like a cancerous cell or something like that. It's like becoming part of the human, which is really interesting. Zombies, anyone? Image 3, it's got more images from the outbreak showing that chaos is kind of starting to happen, stuff like that. Image number 4 has that the news is starting to get wind of it, and of course, as the news is going to start telling people about it, people are going to start freaking out. It's become this big deal. And then finally, in image 5, there's dialogue, and it says that according to the doctors, the parasite is bonding with the patient's adrenal glands, which is the gland in your body that's responsible for different hormones like adrenaline, and they said that it's supercharging it and increasing the patient's pain tolerance. And while it's doing that, it's also morphing with their bones and reinforcing everything from their collarbone down to their forearms. Dude, this is insane. So basically, it's making it so you can't feel this pain, because they said that people would die. It'd be like torturing somebody, what it's doing to these people, but it's keeping them from dying because it's basically supercharging their adrenal glands, allowing them to become these crazy monster species things that they don't know what they are. So that is pretty intense. Now, moving on to file number 2, this one was unlocked back in December, so just a couple weeks ago, and again, it comes with a little synopsis as well as 5 new images. So it says, "The president's plane got attacked. It's been grounded. Tell me this isn't coincidence. Was the president trying to shut it down? Was he too close to the lies? Is this phase 2 of the Truth or Consequences operation? I'll tell you something, the timing is terrible. It may have cost us a factor within the inner circle who was helping us. He fired off some intel before the plane went dark, but what did he leave behind? We'll never never know, but we'll have to move in carefully. They're playing for keeps, so that means the stakes are high. Keep that data coming and don't let them derail the train. So something weird is going on with the president now. Is he in on it? Is he not in on it? We don't know. We've got to try to figure that out. Now, moving on to the images. Number one, we've got, obviously violence is continuing to outbreak. The situation is starting to get worse. People are becoming more and more, paranoid and stuff like that. Image number two shows that dark spikes are now spreading all over town. So it looks like this virus is not only spreading through humans, but it's also starting to spread through inanimate objects too, maybe even animals, who knows. Image number three shows an aerial vision of the town where it's got black spots all over the place. I'm assuming those are like, kind of the main hives of the black spikes and stuff. Image number four is a shredded paper stating that the National Guard is not well enough equipped to handle this situation and that the president was right in bringing in the army, and the army's getting upset because the press are coming in and they're reporting on it and everybody knows it's such a big deal and they're trying to get ahead of it. And then finally, image number five, there's a call transcript between Alicia and Kevin. Kevin is a military medic who's down on the ground, and he said that he's never seen anything like this. There aren't any gunshot wounds or anything typical of, war wounds. It's more like blunt force trauma, gaping wounds. It looks like people that were injured from an earthquake, not from normal war type scenarios. So, these monster things, whatever they're turning into, are causing these crazy injuries. And it's not looking good. Now, that leads us on to file number three, which was actually just added and cracked yesterday. So this just came out yesterday, late yesterday. And again, it's got a new synopsis, it's got an audio file, which we're going to check out, and then finally, it's got new images. So for the synopsis, it says, we were supposed to rendezvous with our supporters among the Russian hacking community for a TT? I don't know what that is, but our flight got delayed. By the time we reached Cafe, everything had gone sideways. They're saying terrorism, but I'm saying cover up, and that tells me we're closer to the truth than ever. Unfortunately, this means our channels are in danger of getting compromised. I'll be scrubbing our site and clearing all of our dead drops. We'll have to go to ground for a while, and this is our last drop at this location. Let me be absolutely clear. They've cordoned off Truth or Consequences, and there's reports of gunfire and explosions, so now battle is starting to break out. That means the citizens of TRC know the truth, and we owe it to them to spill the beans on what's happening. I stand with Truth or Consequences, and we will learn their story. So again, things are continuing to escalate. Now, not only do we have these crazy monsters and spikes starting to form out of the ground, but now there's actual fighting going on. Who knows who's shooting at who, but could be interesting. Now, we have an audio file here. Listen to this.
Alicia, it's Kevin. I don't know how or if this will make its way to you, but if you're listening to this, I'm hoping the worst thing that happened to you today is that they got your venti cap wrong again. If that's the worst thing about your day, that means this whole mess got contained. It means the people I care about are still alive. It means that they've stopped this thing. It's been 2 days since I snuck into the quarantine zone. I can't call out. I think the army jamming cell phone reception. That's why I'm recording this. The last will and testament for an entire town. Truth or Consequences. I can't even... It's dead, Alicia, and nobody knows the half of it. This outbreak, this infection, it's like nothing I've ever seen. It makes monsters from us. It infects you, and then you're a monster. A monster killing your friends, killing anyone you ever loved. That's why there are gunshots and drone strikes out here. That's why the quarantine tent is inside the infection zone. They can't let this thing get out, ever. Even if that means me and everything here gets flattened, I'm fine with that. I don't think there's anyone left to complain. I'm a small price to pay, Alicia. If that means you and everyone else are safe and happy.
Dude, that was kind of tough to listen to. That's like a final words of somebody. Like he was calling a loved one and leaving a final voicemail because he knew the end was near. That was pretty tough. But he said, if it infects you, then you're a monster, killing your friends, killing everyone you've ever loved. Like that's pretty intense. Then he goes on to say that they can't let this get out ever, even if everything around here gets flattened. So I think he's kind of insinuating that maybe the best way to defeat this would be to just like nuke the place, bomb it, like eradicate everything off the map. So I don't know, we could have some sort of like end of days thing going on here. Now, moving on to our images, image 1 shows some of the enemies we're going to be going up against. So you guys can see these are like different types of these zombie monster epidemic things that we're going to be fighting. Some are smaller and look like they have like long talons and stuff. Some are huge and look like tanks. It's going to be kind of interesting. Image number 2 shows more of the spikes, and even down in the bottom it looks like one person who's in the middle of a transformation, like he's still mainly human, but he has those huge spikes coming out of him. Dude, this looks like it's going to be pretty intense. It's going to be scary. It's going to be gory. It's going to be nuts. Image number 3 shows more of like the monsters and the news is spreading and stuff like that. And then image number 4 is an actual witness statement of interacting with one of these creatures. This is kind of interesting. So he says, "We were sitting in the back of a transport truck that was evacuating us when we heard this loud noise like a rumble, but it was picking up speed. Then suddenly the machine gun on the Humvee in front of us goes off, just rattling off bullets for I don't know how long. Then the driver screams, 'Hold on!' and there's a loud boom, like a crash, and our truck slams on the brakes. Next thing I know, we're on top of each other, screaming and crying, and the soldiers in the back with us are screaming too. 'What's going on? Don't stop,' like that. A couple of soldiers jump out and start shooting at something. I don't know what because it's in front of the truck, but they looked scared, you know? Then the truck accelerates and throws us all over each other again. By the time I get my head up, we're past the Hummer. It's an effing wreck, like it got T-boned by a tank or something. It was pulped, man. And there's smoke pouring out, and one of the soldiers is hanging on to the back for dear life. So by the time we grabbed him and helped him in, we were gone from there. But man, and all that smoke, I swear to God, I swear there was something there, something huge. I don't know. I keep thinking about it. Like I couldn't have seen it, but it was there. It was there. So holy cow. These things, these monsters, whatever they are, destroyed a Humvee to the point that he described it as a tank T-boning it. Like that is absolutely insane, dude. I'm just thinking about like the size of what some of these things could be. And then finally, last but not least, we've got a text conversation between two guys, Frank and Gene, and Frank tells Gene that he's infected. And he says that this cannot be contained, it cannot be treated, you can't treat a wildfire, you have to let it starve to death. The only cure is to bomb this place. That's the only way they're going to be able to solve this problem. And that is where it ends. We haven't heard anything since that. So holy cow, dude. This sounds absolutely insane. So we have this city out in the middle of New Mexico with a bunch of, obviously they're going to have a bunch of civilians and people who live there, like innocent people. And then there's some sort of experiment, some sort of, I don't know, it could be like a chemical warfare type deal, like maybe some foreign high superpower is like trying to attack us. Nobody knows what's going on. But all of a sudden there's this massive outbreak of this crazy disease that's forming with people's DNA, turning them into these super tough, strong monsters. And dude, man, it's just absolutely insane. I'm really excited for this. I think this is gonna be really, really cool. So that's what we have so far. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a couple more drops of intel and new things that are gonna come out over the coming weeks. So as we get more information, I'm definitely gonna follow up and update you guys. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. More Rainbow Six coming tomorrow, and I'll see you guys there. Peace out.